So, hello, welcome, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another daily workshop, co-working space for writing. This is, I think, the 11th writing workshop with the goal of rewriting an earlier novel of myself and learning more about writing, about narration, about publishing, about cover design, about what perspective each character has, the plot of each character, the outlining of a novel, and the whole marketing included, the keyword search in Amazon. So everything from A to Z with some research already done. So all the research I have already done. Here is more the focus of organizing all that. We have started the whole series with the individual keywords. So the start was really, okay, well, I have a general direction. I want to go into science fiction. I want to have something with brain, with future technology and with space travel. And then started out with the different keywords, just showing them to you again. So we have the post-apocalyptic scenario. We have an astronaut. We have a specialist as a character. They all have own plots. And especially for Catherine, it's more focused inwards. And we have also the Earth as a character and the different factions on Earth. Today I heard it's similar to, how is it called? Not inversive, but what's the name of the movie where they have also different factions? I have to look it up. I will look it up. So basically, Earth is split into 8 factions. Our protagonist goes into space, and while she has her space adventure, basically she grows as a person and comes back to Earth as a better person, and then changes her basic or changes her political view fundamentally. So this is all already done. You can watch my other episodes on the YouTube channel. I can also post that as well. I think on Twitch there are only 15 days or 14 days, 2 weeks there. So I just posted in the chat. So that's my YouTube channel for the older episodes. And today my focus, yesterday focus was cleanup, bookkeeping, preparing the KDP entry on Amazon and dealing with ideas. And today I will continue with sorting the ideas to prepare everything for focused writing. So my approach to writing is to really, to do the keyword research, then to do the research of the material itself. For example, in this case, it is about, one part is about Venus, another part is political, and a third part is about the brain. So I've researched all that, I have that material, and I have basically a whole box of ideas, and now I have to sift through them to see which ideas I could use during the actual writing. And once everything is prepared, I have already prepared the chapters, and I have the raw material, the characters, their inner plot, their external plot. Then basically it becomes just about the craft of writing, really to turn information into readable material, dialogues, situations, description of environments, and how they interact. With some challenges. One challenge of the book will be to have non-omniscient narrator. The non-omniscient narrator means, okay, this is more like a cinematic view of the whole thing, meaning we have to, it will be a challenge to describe the internal thoughts and what's going on internally, especially when we are talking about the brain. Okay, so just one last thing. If you're new to the channel, I'm using Overleaf to organize the project. Let me zoom in. And in Overleaf, we have already prepared the individual chapters here. And last time we have separated our main plot. So the main core plot is here, the 7 different chapters of the book. We have one for a backstory, for example, what has happened so that those 8 factions were created. What is that? The backstory, and the backstory we can try to insert somewhere. And another challenge here is, of course, what about how can we prevent just exposition to the reader, just pages and pages of backstory or so. So this will be also a challenge where we have to be careful. So imagine the protagonist going into a restaurant or bar, and suddenly the barkeeper talks about the history of the country or something like that. That is very unrealistic and strange. Still, we need to put it somewhere. So it's a little bit of a challenge. Then we have, well, that is main is just the main organization. We have the ideas. That's basically a big box of quotes, of ideas, of little story elements that came to my mind when maybe watching another movie or reading another book. Also, I have copied there everything from my from a card game that is also using the same world. I mean, I'm also creating that. And in that world, in that futuristic world, there are those 8 factions, and those 8 factions are characterized in the game via, for example, quotes. For example, just a random one. I think here, for example, imagine a heap of sand. You carefully remove one grain. Is there still a heap? How much of a human can you replace until it is but a machine? The modern Cerritos problem of Autofac.inc. And I have to add here the description what technology it is referring to, but you can imagine, okay, maybe this is an ad, or this is on TV in the novel, and quotes like this characterize the different 8 factions. So instead of having pages and pages of characterization, okay, hey, the leader of that organization grew up in, I don't know, India, and then went to university, and this and this and this. Instead, we have the reader work out what the world actually is. So the reader will follow the protagonist instead of having basically a non-fiction book where we just describe the world plainly. In that regard, this is also an exploration for the reader, and a bit of a mystery story, because the reader is, of course, thrown into the world, accompanying someone who is familiar with the world, and both have different perspectives about the world. And maybe the reader sees something, but challenge for the reader is that the reader doesn't know much about the world. Vice versa, maybe the protagonist is too much into the world and isn't obvious about any problems in the world that need to be fixed, because she is simply part of the world. Okay. Other than that, if you have any comments or questions about publishing in general, about writing, about narration, just leave a comment. I will now and then. It might be a little bit delay because I have to check the chat now and then, but also in the comments, of course. Okay, now that out of the way, we continue where we stopped last time. So this is still a bunch of notes, basically. What we did last time was at least copy those individual notes into those 7 different chapters plus the backstory. So the goal really is to clean up the idea box and see which ideas could work, which ideas wouldn't work with that plot, and to really focus it. And the more we throw away, the more we can focus on the core ideas. So I have to check one thing again briefly. Yeah, okay. So, okay. Okay, good. So let's start. So again, these are just random ideas here, and we will just have to walk through them. So one thing we stopped last time was, okay, what kind of technologies are there in the future and at which point of the future? So the novel will go over, I think, 20 years of real time in the solar system, and during those 20 years, different technologies are developed, and some are maybe only for the future. And this is something to characterize the world, and that is something we can use to add some flavor to the world whenever we were describing something. For example, imagine we're deciding, okay, in this future world there are robots that are servants for the people on Earth. So maybe when she returns to Earth, she will walk through the street, and robots carrying, I don't know, groceries will walk by her. So this is, and we don't have to say, in the future world there are robots that are servants. Just casually we can say, okay, she walks there, and another. And she's impatient. She wants to buy something at a shop, and she's impatient. A robot in front of her has a malfunction and needs to be repaired. And then the robot makes its purchase, and then she makes her purchase. And that already implies a lot in the world, because once you say, okay, there are robots going to the grocery store, that already implies, okay, there's a certain level of technology available. Okay, but let's get to work, because that is the idea. So what I did here, I already started here. I already split the individual technologies according to chapters. So, for example, what is required for the mission to Venus, simply to work here. And what we did have was okay, this is still I have to clean it up a little bit. Okay, I sorted it out there. Okay, let's put it this way. So we just say 0 means, okay, those technologies already exist at the beginning of the book. Meaning, if you look at the backstory, that is with the here, backstory with an asteroid hitting Earth, 8 factions are created, and they're okay, this is actually, well, okay, this is the actual plot, and the actual book starts around here. So the asteroid hit and 8 factions were created. So the question is, of course, what is required here? I mean, for the plot even to work out. Okay. Again, so we need some organization here, and the organization are the 8 different. Yeah, right. And here's the backstory. We need to clean that as well. So the backstory is, okay, there's an asteroid that hit Earth. Then 8 factions were created. Then Catherine, the protagonist, joins one of those factions and goes off to a journey to Mars. So having that in mind, this has already happened at the beginning of the book. We will refer to this these events, but we will not like write a long intro just explaining everything that happened. But that's also some mystery for the reader to find out what is actually happening here. Okay, so now we're looking at technologies that were developed after this or during this during these items here. So that we just declare that with 0. Well, it's just a symbol. So and then we have 7, I think. 7, yeah. 7 different technology or chapters. So and one is the Mars mission. 2 was the return to Earth, the committee to check what was happening on that Mars mission. 3 was Doctor. So here, at least, we need some sort of we need to introduce the brain implant. And 4 would be then the Venus mission. 5 would be life on Venus, ? 6 would be a return to Earth. And 7 would be freedom. So these are a little bit quicker. Here there's a little bit more time. So between the Mars mission and Earth, I think I wrote it down here somewhere. I think, where did I write it down? No, I didn't write it down. Well, doesn't matter. So returning to Earth. So this is let's say 2 years until the committee starts. 3 years. This could be 5 years. Venus mission starts, or maybe another 2 years. Venus mission another 2 years. Life on Venus, maybe 1 year on Venus, then return again, 3 years. And this might be just a few days. So let's just say 1 year. So this is just for a general time span. I think we have 10 years. We have, around 20 years, plus some additional from the beginning. Here, this might be 5 or 10 years, let's say. So 20 to 30 years, and in that time span, we have some technology. So if you just look back at what technologies we have discovered, let's say since the 1990s, internet, some robotics, medical applications, some social networks, working from home, that this is available for everyone. So there's a lot of individual technologies, and this is also true here. So we might not have all those future technologies, so they might span 100 years, but we will include some that are relevant. And let's say we exclude it. Just to not cram everything in. So if there's synthetic fuel, well, maybe for the ship. So let's see first what we really want to exclude and which simply doesn't fit into it. Yeah, so this is, I mean, I like I like them all as an idea, but some of them really require a longer explanation. For example, if you know the Battle Royale, yeah, okay, there are some I don't want to exclude ideas right from the get-go. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult decision because there are a lot, and you could of course imagine that in that future society there is a lot going on. So maybe let's focus first on the ones that we absolutely need. Even, I mean, for the story to work. So I mean, we can travel to Venus right now. We don't need like special technology for that. But what we certainly need, and that is the core here, when she's at the doctor, the brain implant. Did we have it separately? Yeah, and I mean, you have basically a sort of mind transfer going on. So this is important. So if you know I think it's on Apple TV, Severance, that's also an interesting TV series. The operation is called Severance, so people can no longer, I mean, they basically you switch between two personalities, and you don't know what happened with the other personality. And one personality is in the workplace and the other outside. So you just show up at work, and when you awake 8 hours later, you have done your work. So maybe we'll include that. So what else do we absolutely require? We might need some sort of augmented reality. We could include that as well. So mind control. Well, I mean, we don't want to overload also the book. I mean, for basically each technology, if you watch some science fiction movies, each technology could be an own movie. I mean, for example, Battle Royale is an own movie. Social Network is an own movie. Something with robots is an own movie. Something with trains is an own movie. Ecologies is an own movie. Okay. Yeah. So let's focus on, as I said, really on the core things, and add them left and right if you really need them. We might want either holographic avatars, but we don't need that right away. We might need that for the Venus mission. We need some sort of artificial intelligence. Well, either that or AI slavery, meaning you have an artificial intelligence that works for you but is sentient. That is also an issue in the future. Um, mm, 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 mm. Facial recognition, smart energy, personalized. I think some of them I still have to update. For example, language standardization could be a thing. I don't know, for example, in the comes to mind Firefly TV series, you have a mix between English and Chinese. Well, then it's just an idea, maybe to. She ends up in prison. So maybe this is part of the Battle Royale show, but it's a little bit, it's a little bit of a TV trope. I mean, we have several movie series about that. Still, it could be like on TV, that she follows it on TV. Maybe when she watches it, I don't know, in space or so. There could be some political technology as well, but I mean, let's leave it at that for the moment. What we could have, simply to say, okay, it's a futuristic, either self-driving cars, or I mean, when she's still on Earth, to describe a future society, self-driving cars, in the sense of that they take certain routes to evade traffic jams. We could put that here. Yeah, we could add some sort of space station. I'm not sure if that is required. So some of that will simply come out of our writing. I mean, challenge is, of course, to make that decision. For example, when she returns, she could be not landing on Earth directly, but maybe land on a space station that was constructed by then, and maybe that's also where she's kept until further notice. This makes maybe it a little bit easier to for the ending to write. So perfect vegetable could be a thing for space travel that is simply genetically modified. Maybe not yet on her first mission, but maybe later than on her other mission. So there is also some something with neural networks. We might need here. And some super light drones are always nice. In the future, there are super light drones. Maybe somewhere at the end or so, simply to show, okay, there's a constant progress. So maybe synthetic fuel we just add, but I have to research this actually. I mean, it's not a big thing. I don't we need it here. I mean, for the rockets. We could have someone with cybernetic limbs, but again, you don't want to push too much. Well, we could have some digital currency, but the question is, how do we? I mean, what does it really add to the story that she pays me? I mean, we already pay with some sort of traceable digital currency. Maybe we'll yeah, maybe we'll add it as a backstory. So maybe let's put it this way. The Church of Tomorrow just tracks your statements, what you say, what you buy or so, and then rates you. So similar to the Chinese system of social credits. And basically tracks you down and punishes you indirectly through a system of market system, but government control market. Just in time workers could be a thing. Well, we also have the social credit system. So maybe let's rather do the social credit system. So she lives in a kind of dystopia. Where we could have holographic avatars again, and the new mission here. We could have femtech, so just another implant. Again, we would add this then on her mission to Venus. So basically, chapter 4 and 5 are a lot about technology. Pre-crime could have. Yeah, well, pre-crime is basically a computer analyzes your online behavior and then decides, okay, you're likely to be a criminal, and then act accordingly. Oops. Okay. Well, interconnected surveillance, that just adds stuff. I mean, there's a lot. Pandemic, that we say, okay, everyone gets a... This might be something... simply to have something current on, but let's put it here somewhere at the end. Or maybe when she returns. Maybe there's an outbreak and then she needs to be put in quarantine. Virtual reality, no, that's not a big thing. Self-destructive information, maybe. Controlled opposition. Yeah, so I don't have any more ideas. Maybe maybe personalized medicine would be another thing. So she has maybe certain ailments and well, maybe at the doctor. So we just paint a picture. Okay, what could be a future medical system look like? And she certainly travels with the maglev train. Why not? Automated factory. We could mention it somewhere. I think it's around 3 when she's still on Earth. So there's maybe she visits one, an automated factory, or she mentions one. Well, facial recognition. It could be also something on Earth. So she's a little bit in a controlled society. Dream advertisements, that's always good. We could add it when she's longer on Earth, when she's recovering. That's here when she prepares for the Venus mission. when she returns. Okay, so I'll double check if we, one moment, have all the things we need. And then we'll just start with that. I mean, now it's just organizing the stuff, and then we'll have that as well. Just checking if you have all the things. Standardization, self-driving cars. Yeah, because I have another list here, and that list might not be up to date. No, it looks good. Mind control. Okay, maybe, but this is just something we could mention. A great firewall. And maybe a computer, so this more towards the end, and some sort of computer that assigns resources to you. Well, what we really don't have yet a lot is, I mean, these are mainly about the world she's in, so especially the country or region where the Church of Tomorrow reigns, and Church of Tomorrow is very authoritarian, but they're opposite. So at the end, she turns basically to the opposite faction. We don't have many technologies mentioned, at least. I mean, the main thing would be she returns with an artificial intelligence. So this would be still something we could. Where we had mind artificial. Oh yeah, mind transfer. Yeah. I mean, this could be something in terms of rights for AIs or rights for life. And I'm just checking which would be there possible. So what I did was, or there is, I have a whole Excel list here. And the black ones here in this column here, the black ones are authoritarian, and the white ones are more, I think this no longer, does this still apply? Yeah, the yellow ones are individual freedom. So self-driving cars versus, Great Firewall, or versus maglev train. Where do we have the maglev train? Okay, so this is something we still need to do. So to do, align it into two factions, and now we just move the, or put, well, let's move, no, let's copy the ones to the individual chapters, and then put it into the individual chapters, and then we can move forward. So we might need this mind transfer. So then these four for the Venus mission. And then severance operation. And self-driving cars. Although, so self-driving cars are more a technology to save the climate, reduce traffic jams. So maybe we will remove that and have instead the maglev train. So this is backstory, but we will mention it the first time when she's back on Earth. So then we have, well, we already have that, AI slavery. So there's a lot about AI here. And the perfect vegetable just as another thing she takes with her. Augmented reality. So things she's looking at with or without her brain implant. Then we have this. We have a permanent space station and she returns to the space station, and we have dream advertisements. So I mean, one question would be if that implant she gets is a common thing. I mean, now it would point to, okay, it's a common thing everyone has. Let's put a question mark here. Also here, augmented reality. That could be simply with glasses, or maybe that is still, I mean, virtual reality glasses. So we had that. We had maglev train, facial recognition. This is always something we could use. That's independent of that. Implant, and we have maglev train, automated factory, and personalized medicine. So for example, personalized medicine, we could just mention on the side where we say, okay, hey, here's your genetic profile, so this and this you need. So the social credit system, we could mention it here on Earth. Maybe the first time here. Also, maglev train would be the first time here, and facial recognition is actually also the first time here. And she's back on Earth. Visiting an automated factory. Well, I mean, it's not that exciting. I mean, we could mention it. Okay, but we actually need it here. Also, what we here have to do is, I mean, there's to do societal change in from Solar Plus to Church of Tomorrow. We have to basically mention industries plus technologies that prevent, I don't know, climate change. So maglev train would be more on the Solar Plus side. The question and social credit system more on. So it's a mixture here between those. Maybe we'll add this. I mean, society is a mixture in technologies of Solar Plus and Church of Tomorrow. And Church of Tomorrow gets more and more dominant because a number of technologies are introduced and they skew the public opinion more into towards Church of Tomorrow until Church of Tomorrow basically takes over. That is happening here, the takeover, to do takeover of Church of Tomorrow. And the question is how does EG public transportation change? So one thing is on the travel to Mars, they after all need some sort of virtual reality simply to spend time there. So we have that. We need that somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it's Journey to Mars, but she returns. So somewhere here. But we when returning. Okay. So, do we have anything else? Well, Gosplan supercomputer. So maybe that is a significant change. So instead of like you can buy whatever you want, like or personalized medicine, you're now assigned a certain amount of credits or a certain amount of resources. I don't know, you get 4 toothbrushes each year or something like that. So, and Great Firewall we have at the end. I mean, she basically has to overcome that. Well, and what else do we have? Virtual reality, Global Pandemic Defense Force. This will be a little bit more challenging to write. Self-destructive. Maybe. And she sees, okay, Battle Royale show, maybe. She watches it and maybe, but this is a little bit contrived. Okay, she says, oh, this is terrible. We can't continue with that. Question mark. Maybe when she returns to Earth. I mean, she's still part of that organization until then. Okay, so basically this list, I mean, it's a little bit this list adds flavor insofar as we just mention the first time it appears, we mention it and describe it a little bit. I don't know, she enters the maglev train and there's no vibration or so, and she arrives at her goal in a few minutes, something like that. Some ads running in the background of the train, etc. Okay. Well, during the Mars mission, there's so much happening. I don't think it makes sense to introduce new technologies just as a fancy way. So the Mars mission will be more or less conventional, with the exception maybe of virtual reality, simply to spend time. So I'll just copy this into the individual chapters. And then we have that as well. And basically we have now the backstory of what is going on in the background. And the only thing here now, we have to copy the quotes. that I prepared for and 5. So yeah, and basically you can see at least, well, maybe it's just me, but I like it a little bit a systematic approach to writing. So not sure about super light drones at the very end. Maybe as just as a gimmick, so that we have at least one thing. I don't know. She gets her message by a drone. Okay, and now we just look up the individual quotes. I have to actually copy them separately. Let me check. Yeah, I'll copy it from the Excel file. So we have, so here we have nothing. Here we have virtual reality. And we have a quote. So by autofac. So it just says, okay, the transhumanists want to turn you into a computer. We want to turn everything else into a computer screen. So basically, instead of like changing your brain, they say, okay, you get glasses and then everything else is a screen, basically. Then the social credit system. Right, and this is actually a quote by Church of Tomorrow. So in the Middle Ages, fear led people to repent. Today, our algorithm makes sure that people want to be good. That is basically similar to the Chinese system. Maglev. Again, church. Wait. Did I get the right one here? Ah, okay, that's super light drones. Maybe I'll move them forward. So an Earth toy, yes, but an important first testing ground for our industries. Even this dares to have to touch the dirty soil. Maybe we'll put this somewhere else. Maybe we'll put it early on when she's on Earth. Okay, but there's also the maglev. A step into them. As I step onto the maglev train, I feel not just its speed, I feel that it bends space and time, moving our people closer together. Well, maybe she just uses it to reach a launch site or something like that. Similar to, where is it, in Kazakhstan? In Russia, or near Russia. So what else do we have? We have facial recognition. Again, more quotes to characterize the 8 factions instead of saying, okay, this faction does this faction does that. I'll try to characterize the factions by saying, okay, that's what they say about specific technologies. So here, publicly, they advertise facial recognition software. However, we believe that they are much more advanced than that. The smallest mannerisms can already identify you with high accuracy. I mean, that's also in China. where they can basically find out who you are simply by not scanning your face, but by checking how you move. I mean, that's also can also completely identify you. I mean, muscle mass, how fast you go, how far you you use your knee or something like that, or if you have an ailment or something like that. Okay. So I'm just checking what other quotes we have from Solar Plus. This could be another one. Okay. So this is about femtech. So basically the idea is, okay, if you provide, for example, women with femtech, well, that's the base, or everyone with technology, so that at least in terms of in that area, you don't have any more hierarchy. You also promote equality in the whole society. So, and Solar Plus is basically about technology. And doesn't care about traditions. They want to save the world with technology. So, and this one is robot rights. Could be something. Maybe here, robot. Yeah, I'll just add it here. So they say, okay, what makes us human is not the texture of or color of our skin, but our ability to reflect and react. If the machines have shown this capability, by all means, let us welcome them as equals. It's a little bit stolen by from Terminator 2. What else do we have? Oh yeah. Well. Mission to Venus itself is a technology used in the game. So basically, as I saw the rocket successfully rise in the sky, I felt a spark of hope. Earth must not experience the fate of Venus. We are better than that. The challenge is a little bit, of course, in the novel. She goes there to find life, not to study the climate. So we might have to rewrite this a little bit. So what else do we have? Okay, refugees. Well, this could be something for the ending. So a global immigration system. Maybe for the very ending. Global immigration system, so that at the end maybe she flees also the country. What else do we have? Another quote. Okay, that's advanced democracy, but that doesn't really fit. It's not a political thriller. Well, then that is important when they basically build the or try to build the... okay, I already have this. So when they attempt to create a World Climate Council, you already have that. Global vaccines doesn't fit, I think. Well, we could add it also at the end. So maybe as an alternative. So global vaccine delivery. So basically that you can synthesize your personalized protein synthesizer. I mean, the problem is not a technology as is, but we are unsure about on an individual level what a vaccine does. So we need to test it, and just having people just print out vaccines might not be the best way of testing it. Okay. So then something about controlled opposition. Well, it's not political. And that is just, we already have that. And some more quotes from Church. Already have this. So basically, well, an employee search portal, we don't need that. Well, okay, wrong. I mean, she applies for a job here somewhere, and maybe there's an advanced way of employee search portal. There's an advanced way of finding new employees. So then building the colony ship, we already have that. Then permanent space station. We have that at the end. Of course, this is the situation where she arrives here at the space station. So maybe we'll add that previously. So permanent space station. We are the chosen guardians of the sky. So they are basically a religious space Nazis. For we are the chosen guardians of the sky. Let the sinners fight over the crumbs while we aim for the stars. It's a little bit of a twist to the idea of science fiction, space travel good, and the other people are anti-science or something. But here it's more about the climate and how to react to a catastrophe. Okay, there's a individualized robot. No, we don't need that. So the social credit system. Did we already have that? Social credit system. I think here somewhere. Oh, there. In the Middle Ages, fear led people to repent. Today, our algorithm makes sure that people want to be. I think we already have that somewhere, or had that somewhere. Right here, we already had that. Oh well. Okay. So just a few more, and then we're done. So. Well, we could add something like a more. We need more robots. It's a little bit inspired by, how's it called? Something with wolves, walking with the wolves or living with the wolves. Where also the religious people build robots to defend the faith. So robot army, that's more a thing about here when they're fighting here. So you see, it can be complex to think about a futuristic world, because you can't just look out the window and say, okay, there's a restaurant or something like that. It has to make some sort of sense, and it has to be some sort of interesting. And we also want to use the technology to characterize the different factions. So it's a lot of stuff together. Oh yeah. So then television ad. So we previously said, okay, she's watching some sort of show. So a free seat on the ship for the last survivor tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time, all channels. So it's basically a survival show. Okay, who gets on the colony ship and you basically fight for your life. Like, well, how's it called? Runner, Logan's Run. Okay. So those are all the quotations from the two main factions. And now for the other factions, we'll just add here some more quotes. So again, I have prepared all those quotes. I just need to search for them. So by all means, we could create human consciousness out of wood. The magic is not the mechanism. The magic is what it produces. So that is from a very corporatist point of view. So then holographic. Of course, we need holographic avatars. It's always good for the reader to imagine, okay, there's a holograph. And we need, that's from the International Peace Force. They are spread all over the world and basically partisans fighting against the rising threat of authoritarianism. So then AI slavery. So basically the question, okay, what about rights? And I think we have already the perfect vegetable. No, I think I copied it somewhere else. So the perfect. So the advantage of building such or doing all that research beforehand is, of course, you can just use it as a just grab into the bag and just get some get an easy paragraph out of it. Because I don't know if you have this part, okay, everyone knows what an apple looks like, yet no one has ever seen a perfect one until now. It's a television ad, and you could write a paragraph where she looks at a television show or a television ad, and this is what she sees. And it turns out she then eats one, and this for one characterizes, okay, what's Holoface Inc. about? They're advertising products, and what does the future look like? Okay, we have genetically modified organisms. Okay, so what else do we have? Did we have here? Okay, here we have some more. Now it becomes interesting about the implant. So, hello computer, yeah. Mind transfer. And then we have some other voices. People who undergo the procedure are heroes. The experience of one combat veteran will be valuable to thousands on the front line. So this is basically the main plot device in the novel. Severance operation. I'm not sure if we then need this one. Yeah. As I stood in that elevator, I felt happiness. Whoever I am, I will do my best to make my other self happy as well, for that is my purpose in life. So, augmented reality. Oh, I think we already had that somewhere. Automated factory. Well, this is a little bit similar to Dune, at least one version. Okay, humanity will deteriorate into apathy if it thinks that it could have technology as its servant. To control the machines, we have to merge with them. Cybernetics Inc. So they are more concerned about, okay, who controls what? And they think, okay, everyone needs to be part of the machine to control the machine. Dream advertisements, I think I will remove this one. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't add anything. Just more ads. Personalized medicine. So this is the idea, okay, at the beginning of your life or whenever you're doing a personalized genetic profile, and then any medication is adapted to that. But we're far yet from that, simply because it's tough to then run studies on an individual level. But apparently one faction has solved it, or claims to. So, and then the toothbrush factory. And that is a reference to World on a Wire. What occurred to me today is that the new Simulacron 4 can simulate the world and predict its future so accurately that even its simulated inhabitants believe that they live in the real world. It's a little bit frightening. But that's what science fiction is about. Okay, I think we still have the firewall. Firewall. And of course, they want to portray it as a positive thing. People talk about it as if it were a wall. I see it as a door to the world with a guard carefully checking who is walking in and out. Well, I can look at it this way as well. Global pandemic. We all lived through that, or living through that. The field of viruses is but another battlefield. Like our opponents are spreading propaganda we need to suppress, viruses turn our citizens into enemy combatants. That's basically the from Chinese view. But that discussion is for another time. I'm not sure yet how far I should go about it in the novel. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it out. I'm not sure. I mean, it doesn't add anything if there is or isn't a pandemic. Yeah, I think this is more something for another book. self-destructive information. So currently all information is easily to copy. The question is, can we make information so that it's not easy to copy? Well, theoretically, yes, but it's not that simple. In the end, you can always, basically photograph it and turn it into a different medium. Okay, is there something else? No, we have everything. Okay, so what did we do today? We basically decided, okay, how does the future look like? What technologies are there developed? What technologies aren't there developed? I'm a little bit unsure about the whole part of AI, consciousness, etc., how far that goes, robot rights, etc. But for all the other things, it's clear. And I can actually delete it on at least a list here. So in the ideas thing, I can just, the goal here is really to delete everything where we say, okay, we have done that. We've copied it already to the other part, so we can delete all that. And we can delete all the quotes by those different, we already have all that. Yeah, for some reason it takes local CPU power just to scroll a thing. Okay, I think I know why. Some plugins that are working here. These are the agents. Oh no, these are the individual motivations of the leaders, but we don't know. We don't need it, and yeah, this is a whole. We don't do the political thing in the novel. Okay. So we have another huge part, the whole technology, how the future will look like. This gives us basically a canvas. What we will do, I think tomorrow, look at additional ideas, but there's not much left. So I think it's 200 lines, and every other line is written. It's something about individual motivation, personality, and some additional ideas, and a narration, like, okay, for example, a ticking clock. Do you want to have a ticking clock in your story in the background? That is interesting for the reader. Simply to say, okay, it's not like the protagonist has now 10 years time or so, but okay, time is running out. With climate, it's a little bit difficult, so we have to think about how to make it a little bit more interesting. So a lot still to do, but I think we're more than 50% ready for actual writing. And actual writing, really getting down into the dialogue and checking how everything works, how specifically events have to come one after the other, etc., etc. I'm spent for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or ideas or want to show your own project, just let me know. For me, this is just, for me, motivational to get on with the novel and finish it up. So, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Next week, I mean, it will be daily, but next week I expect then really to get into writing. I'm spending a lot of time on preparation, but I think it will really speed up than writing. In that regard, thank you very much for watching and see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Bye.